because there is a Scandinavian sound. It's very, it has to do, and then I come to your question with George Russell. He said, you put out a note, but you take the time to wait for the echo to come back. That was what George said. And many other cultures, among them maybe the American, wouldn't take the time to wait that long.
And you might not have noticed, you might not have observed that you were doing that.
Not at all. Not at all. And maybe that was the same with when I worked with Miles. There were many things that I think I did composing these horror pieces.
Yes, and I wanted to certainly wanted to ask you about that.
If I'm anticipating,
that's fine. No, that's fine. That's fine.
I had the same feeling.
It's like music, you know.
Yes, it is. We are improvising.
Yeah,
you give me some chords, and I try to play solo.
It's a nice feeling that you're
good.
I don't even have to look at the paper. You know,
okay,
it's a wonderful
fantastic.
Feeling, so.
Okay, because I had the feeling that he felt it was known to him. Of course, otherwise he wouldn't have done it. He would just walked away. But right. he didn't walk away, and it was known. The language was known to him, but it was also a little different, and that is what I don't know, because I more or less, I mean, I write a bass line and hope that it's like that, but it's not, because I know I have many American friends in Denmark, but when they and George, when they do a bass line, for instance, it is another bass line than the one I can do, because I'm not grounded in the same way.
Right.
But there's something else I have up there with my European background, and especially maybe with my Scandinavian background. I work a lot with Terje Rypdal, the Norwegian guitar player, who when I am listening to him when he plays, it's very inspired by Jimi Hendrix, yes, but there is something else, and I cannot tell you what it is. These conversations. So maybe that was what fascinated Miles, that it was a place where he could go in. It was a room that he knew in the house or whatever, that he knew, but there was also something else, just like George, and I don't know what it is. I just play. He said, "Open up," blah 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 blah, and at the time we will come in with "Sound of Silence" as his opening song. Very beautiful sound, and let George, what do you want? Just play as you normally do.
Well, they could be comfortable being guests in that sound. They could.
And I can be as well.
Yes.
It's just like the two of us. Yeah, feel free. On the other hand, I know that if Miles hadn't liked the song, if George wouldn't like what I did, I wouldn't be there. So I shouldn't be afraid of being who I am.
No. And I, of course, wanted to ask you about the piece in the recording that eventually became Miles Davis's Aura. Yeah. First of all, when it's well documented that the story behind that recording, but what was your reaction when you were asked to do that?
I have to get that on because I was scared to death. Because how, it's like somebody said, you're going to have painting lessons by Picasso. Exactly.
Right. Well, not a lesson, but you're going to have to paint a painting that with him.
With him, exactly.
Right.
So I said yes to do this one because Gil Evans, who I also worked with for many times in Europe, was supposed to do the other piece. It was two halves in that celebration of Miles getting this prize that was normally given to classical musicians, Stravinsky, Leonard Bernstein, Janet Baker, Olivier Messiaen, blah blah blah, all these great classical composers. Miles was the first one in the field of improvised music. At first he didn't want to take it. He didn't know what it was. So they had to send somebody over, and he accepted when he saw Stravinsky, Bernstein got it. He said, okay. And then Gil Evans should have done it, but for some reason was late and never composed what he was supposed to do. So my piece became the one where Miles was supposed to play those 5 minutes that was in the price. You have to play 5 minutes or something, or conduct it or whatever. So he accepted to play 5 minutes. And at the opening night, when he got the prize, of course we had a long rehearsal, we had long talks, and I found out that the master was a fantastic person to us. He was so nice. I mean, there are many stories. Of course, we've heard them before. Yes.
Right, you described him as humble.
Very, very humble, yes. He was very, very humble. And very funny man who wanted to see us laugh. Yes. And his intuition was so, and he loved to see us laugh, and he had beautiful points of view on different people, and without ever seeing them before, he walked around in the studio and said something to them that I know was true, although I know them for 20, 40 years maybe.
So he had an intuitive sense.
Exactly, he walked around, and of course everybody was very quiet, because he walked around, at the time he had this bad hip, so he walked like this with his hat on, and it was so, we had the feeling of something happened. And then he walked around and said hello to everyone in this very special way, walked around them. They were sitting there and thinking, what's going on here? This Henning was there playing in one of the movements, and I mean, everything, the atmosphere was so full of fire, but not dangerous fire. Just the ground was like this, and I'm not lying.
Like creative fire.
A creative fire, you can call it, yes.
Now, what did you see in his aura? What you saw, the colors in his aura, were obviously a big part of what that recording became, and
that was
the inspiration you were working off of.
That was the way I chose, because I have never met him. I've only heard him on records, concerts, and had that deep respect. He inspired me for years and years and years and years with his playing, since I had the 45 of When Lights Are Low, as we talked about.
Right.
I said, how is it possible to have a trumpet sounding like that? I loved Clifford Brown, I loved Dizzy, of course I did, I heard all these fantastic greats, but suddenly there was a trumpet that sounded like a human voice.
Well, and what's so striking about Miles' work is his ability to convey a deep piece to the audience that really is, I think, beyond musical terms, why so many people gravitate to a sound, and yet there's this very tough exterior about him. And you have to wonder, after reading his book, whether how such a peace-giving sound could come out of a person who was so had such a tough outside. And you wonder if you have to wonder that you would have to be a sensitive person to be able to, or else it's some sort of divine gift.
That's right.
But we don't have the answer.
No, we don't have the answer. No, because both of them were there. But if you ask if he was sensitive, in my opinion, yes. And I think I remember, was it Frances, his wife, who said he reminded her, when he played with the mute, of a little boy who wanted to get in, knocked on the door and wanted to get in. He was locked out. Please let me in.
Interesting.
Yes, that's
that
what
someone
she said.
would hear
yes,
that.
Exactly. Yes.
I mean, I remember finishing his book and feeling like sad.
Me too.
That I was saying goodbye to an old friend, and a protective kind of a angel kind of on my shoulder saying, "Don't give him." Don't take any shit off those.
No, exactly.
And I said, wow, that was such a great feeling to have.
Yes, exactly.
Almost like a guardian angel or something. I said, I'm sad to say goodbye. I said to buy the book.
Exactly. I had the same sadness or the same feeling. Yes.
I mean, it's genuinely sad finishing.
Genuinely sad. Exactly. Yeah. Sure.
That's why some people read the book. I guess. You can read the book multiple times. You have to go back and revisit your friend Miles.
That's right.